Your to-do list? Well, it's lying to you. There's a high-level imposter hiding right there in your morning routine, and it's stealing your best work hours before you even finish that first coffee. I've spent hours, analyzing exactly why our best-laid plans just fall apart by 10 a.m. And I've realized we aren't just busy, we're being robbed. I want you to think about your typical morning for a second. You sit down with your coffee, ready to conquer the world. But by the time you look up, it's noon, and you haven't even touched your biggest project. I've started looking at these lost hours like a crime scene, searching for the fingerprints of what I call the fake priority. See, this is a master manipulator sitting right on your desk, disguised as an urgent email, or maybe a quick check of your notifications. It feels like work. It looks like work. But it's actually a heist, targeting your most valuable resource, your peak cognitive energy. In this investigation, I'm going to show you how to identify the imposter that's been sabotaging your performance. I'm going to give you the forensic tools to see through the manipulation and show you exactly how you can take back your morning before the theft even happens. We aren't just talking about being efficient, right? We're talking about protecting your mental territory. It's time to stop being a victim of your own schedule and start running the interrogation. Now, let's look at the evidence. Picture the scene. It's 9 a.m. You've got your coffee in hand, your laptop is open, and you're finally ready to tackle that deep work project you've been putting off. You're at peak cognitive capacity. But then, the first suspect enters the room. A Slack notification pings. An email pops up with a subject line that screams urgent, even though it's, anything but. I call these the low-value intruders. On the surface, they look like work. They sound like productivity. But under forensic analysis, they're nothing more than sophisticated distractions designed to hijack your focus. The psychological trick here is subtle, right? When you answer that quick email or clear those red notification bubbles, your brain gives you a hit of dopamine. You feel like you're winning. You feel busy. But there's a massive difference between being busy and being effective. If you've ever reached 5 p.m. feeling absolutely drained, like your brain has been to a blender, yet you look at your to-do list and realize your most important task hasn't moved an inch, you've been robbed. You spent your highest value hours on your lowest value tasks. You traded your gold for copper. These intruders are forensic evidence of a broken system. They exploit our natural desire for completion and, of course, a fear of missing out. We tell ourselves we're clearing the deck so we can focus later. But by the time we're done clearing, our mental energy is bankrupt. But why are we so susceptible to this? Why does the human brain prefer the easy, fake priority over the difficult, real one? To find the answer, we have to look closer at the psychological trap hidden inside your own biology. Because there's a reason your brain is actually helping these intruders break in. And I'm telling you, it's not what you think. Here is the psychological forensic report on why your brain is actually an accomplice in this productivity heist. I want you to think of your brain as a high-level investigator, one that has a secret little addiction. That addiction is dopamine. See, every time you clear a notification or answer a quick email that just popped up, your brain's reward system fires off a tiny hit of satisfaction. It's a quick win, right? The psychological truth is that fake priorities, they are master manipulators. Serious, They masquerade as important because they trigger that instant gratification, but they offer absolutely zero long-term ROI. Directly, as a working professional, you're literally wired to seek that completion high. Your brain doesn't naturally distinguish between finishing a multi-million-dollar proposal and clearing 10 junk emails. It just knows that done feels good. But here is the paradigm shift you need to internalize. A fake priority is usually just someone else's lack of planning, disguised as your emergency. Firmly, when you let these intruders take over your morning, you aren't being helpful. You're being hijacked. In the world of high performance, real productivity isn't about how much you can fit into your inbox. Calculated, it's about how well you can protect your deep work crime scene from these low-value intruders. Think of your focus as a restricted area. Gravely, every time you let a quick task in, actually, you're contaminating the evidence of your best work. I've spent a long time analyzing the behavior of these distractions, you see, and I've discovered they aren't as invisible as they seem. Intrigued? In fact, they leave behind specific neurological fingerprints that give them away every single time. If you know what to look for, you can spot them before they even cross the threshold of your office door. But to catch a thief, you have to know their methods. I'm going to show you exactly how to dust for these prints so you never fall for the urgent trap again. Because once you see the pattern, you'll realize that the most dangerous intruder in your morning is the one you've been inviting in yourself. It's time to take these suspects into the interrogation room and finally put your to-do list under the hot lights. Before 10 a.m., I don't let a single task cross my desk without a full background check. I use what I call the 3-question interrogation to separate the genuine high performers from the professional imposters. The first thing I do, it's the ROI background check. I look at the task and ask myself, does finishing this directly impact my primary KPI for this month? I'm looking for a paper trail, you see. If I can't trace a straight line between this action and my most important goal, then I know I'm looking at a distraction in a well-tailored suit. Most of the tasks that shout the loudest, well, they usually have the weakest connection to my actual success. Once a task passes that, I move on to the evidence test. I look at the clock and I ask myself, if I ignore this for the next 4 hours, will the company actually collapse, or will someone just have to wait? This is where I separate true emergencies from mere inconveniences. We've been conditioned to think that an unanswered message is a fire, but when I look at the evidence, I realize that 90% of these fires are just smoke. If the building isn't actually burning down, the task doesn't deserve my morning focus. Then, I perform the most difficult part, the motive search. I have to be real here. I ask, am I doing this to move the needle, or just to stop feeling the anxiety of an unread notification? I've realized that I often chase small tasks just to get that quick hit of dopamine, to feel like I'm working, while avoiding the deep, difficult thinking that actually matters. I'm checking to see if I'm being productive or just being busy to soothe my own nerves. If a task fails even one of these questions, I don't delete it. I just arrest it. I move it straight to what I call the holding cell. That's my 3 p.m. task list, the afternoon slump, right? That's where the low-level suspects belong, when my brain doesn't have the energy for high-level strategy. I keep my morning clear for the heavy hitters. But identifying these fake priorities, that's only half the battle. Even when I know a task is an imposter, there's a specific psychological reason why it's so hard to let it go. There's a specific brain glitch that makes us crave these distractions more than the real work. And if you don't know how to override it, well, you'll find yourself back in the same trap by tomorrow morning. That brain glitch,
is exactly why we stay stuck in the cycle of busy work. But here is the evidence you simply can't ignore. Once you start interrogating your morning with that 2-minute filter, the entire power dynamic shifts. You see, you stop being a victim of an overflowing inbox or a demanding notification, and you finally start being the architect of your career. This isn't just about managing a to-do list, right? It's about reclaiming your identity as a high performer. I want you to put this to the test. Try this interrogation for just 48 hours and observe how your mental clarity sharpens. You'll start to realize that most of those screaming emergencies, well, they're actually just background noise, disguised as a crisis. If you're ready to stop the morning heist and protect your most valuable asset, your focus, then subscribe and join our unit here at Power of Mindset. We're building a community of high performers who know how to see through the distractions. Tell me in the comments, what is the one fake priority that's been stealing your time this week? I'll be down there with you, helping you profile the suspects and lock down your schedule. Case closed.